Hey, what's going on, guys? So for today's video, we're going to be checking out the Zanshen Hao from A Baoa Qu Models, which is essentially a 1/100 scale version upsized of the RG 1/144 scale Zeong kits. So as you can see, we got this big old box here, and there's really not anything to see here on the outside of the box. So let's just go ahead and pop it right open. Inside here, you will notice one thing that is also going to be included with this, which is going to be the effect parts, which are extremely large here in 1/100 scale. So that is going to be taking up a good amount of the box here just for all of those effect parts. We also have what looks like upscaled action bases here included as well. It's going to be a set of 3 of those that is kind of required for all the effect parts and everything. And for some more of the contents here, we've got a couple of this small H1 runner there in either just solid pink or clear pink. Looks like that's going to be probably for the mono eye part, so that's separate there. And these wires, which we've got 2 of these thick black wires for the arms. We'll see how well those work there on the kit in a moment. We've also got a quite large sheet of water slide decals in here as well, which I'm just going to assume, based on what I can tell, is also just an upscaled version of what was the decal sheet for the 1/44 scale. So you've got a bunch of caution markings and lining bits there in white, gray, like dark gray, Zeong logos there, and yellow. And all this here, even some of like the metallic bits that go on like the frame and all that. So, all right, for the instruction manual here, we do have some line art there on the front, and that is about it. I'm gonna guess there's not gonna be any other like photos of the kit or anything. You do have the marking guide here on the back, letting you know where all the decals go. On the front inside pages has the parts list. And other than that, it's pretty simple here on the inside. It's all just in black and white. But everything is laid out for you. I will say, I do like that the markings for the parts is quite big and bold, so very easy to see the part numbers on there, so that's good. But yeah, otherwise, not really too much else to note here from the manual. Let's see, we get to the very end, it's going to show you about the assembly of the effect parts in there. That's added, and then the display base, as I said, which does look to be like just like similar to the kit. It's an upscaled action base there. So that'll work pretty well. All right, so yeah, other than our 3 base plates, which are there in gray, then here are the rest of the parts there, which is actually runner X, but there's all those parts there in gray. And then our 3 huge runners full of effect parts are runners S, T, and U, just to give you a look at those. None of these are doubled, so it's just all these different effect parts here spread across these 3 runners. So there's all of those. Those look really cool. Our first couple runners, A and B, are going to be armor parts there in a light blue. And then for contrast, in a very slightly lighter shade of blue, runners C and D have more of those armor pieces there. Runners E and F are going to be in this dark navy blue color there, parts for the frame and some mechanical bits. And then we're getting into more of the inner frame here. So runners G and H, all the inner frame is going to be here in this dark gray color. Runners J and K here as well to follow that up with just more of the inner frame. Runners L and M getting into some of the quite large pieces there for like the skirting armor and all that, or the frame of that anyway. And then even more of that here on runners N and P here. Again, some more parts for in the skirt. And then runners Q and R for the last of our gray inner frame parts here. And runner Q is interesting because this one is actually all the parts for the hands. And if you remember from the real grade, those parts were pre-molded and that made them a little bit more difficult to paint. In this case, it's all separate parts, which is definitely going to make these easier to paint if you're wanting to paint those hand parts. So that's definitely a nice improvement. Runner Y is some parts here in dark blue. And then runner Z is some parts here in red, including the parts there for the horns on the head, of course. And looping back around the alphabet now to runner A1 is going to be some parts here in black, and B1 is going to be some parts in this kind of very slightly lavender shade of blue there. Runner C1 is going to be in a plated silver here, it looks like, for some nice silver accents for around on the frame. Runners D1 and E1, runner D1 being in a more just kind of slightly pale yellow color, runner E1 being in a more orangish yellow color there. Runner J1 is going to be some more parts for the hands here, as you can see, the hand parts and fingers and all that. And then last but certainly not least, runner G1 here, I just wanted to show you separately. I'm going to keep it in the bag just for safekeeping, make sure that doesn't get all scuffed up, but it's our clear part for in the head. And just to show you here, it's packaged in this really nice frame around that part just to keep it protected. So looks pretty good. That's everything. Let me go ahead and get it put together and we'll check it out. But all right, so then here's what it's going to look like when it's all built up. Certainly that much larger size is going to be very impressive here with this. It's kind of interesting just to compare this now in 1/100 scale to what the Master Grade 1/100 scale Zeong is going to look like. With this essentially looking something like a Master Grade 2.0, a much more detailed 1/100 scale version compared to the original Master Grade. And that said, I do think that the original Master Grade still has a lot of charm, even though it's not as detailed. But anyway, aside from the larger size, you do have some nice added details like the little bits of kind of silver metallic parts there for the verniers around on the skirt armor, and a couple of other vent bits here and there as well that were just in a dark gray color on the RG version of the kit. And yeah, definitely having those finger parts as separate pieces will make painting a lot easier as well. But we do have some accessories included in here with this, so let's go ahead and take a look at those then. And so you can see I have the kit there standing like this, and that is using the landing gear parts that you have here on the bottom, but you can take those off and remove the landing gear bits, and then you can mount it to the action base. Now, as you saw, we have basically 3 of these plate parts. You have the one main arm for holding up the kit, and then the additional parts can be attached onto here to give you this 3-section base with these smaller arms here for holding up the arms when attached onto the wires coming off from the main body. So that'll be very useful for that. We got our wires then for the arms, and you can cut these down to a shorter length if you prefer to, but we've got 2 of those. And just like with a regular action base, this part here, you have 3 different options for that, basically a short, medium, and a long piece, just kind of depending on how high you need this. I'm just using the medium piece on there, which is kind of normal for me. Other than that, we just got a bunch of our effect parts. So you have all these little effect parts here that are going to go in the fingers. So you've got 10 of those. We've got 2 of these that are going to attach into the back of the forearm. So again, if you have the forearms going off on the wires, you can make it look like those are kind of blasting along there. And then for up underneath the skirt, we've got 2 of these very large effect parts here for the 2 main thruster bells there, the large ones. And then for the 5 smaller ones, which are still quite large, you've got 5 of these that will just fit into there as well. So all of that said, is going to make the kit rather heavy with all the effect parts up on the base. So the one concern that I do have, and I've already tried this out, but I can tell you that the arm of the base holds the kit up perfectly well, but it is a little bit, I would be a little bit careful with it. I wouldn't put it in somewhere where it could like easily fall off of a high shelf, just in case if that base fails and it does happen to fall off the base or something for some reason. So otherwise, most of the kit is going to be pretty familiar. If you've built the real grade kit, it's going to work in the same way. You have a really nice bend here in the torso to get like a really far bend back. That's great for doing like flying poses, along with the head being able to go up there like that. You can pretty much have it like looking straight while being completely horizontal there like this, flying, which is really cool. Alternatively, you can have it kind of turned around the other way with the thrusters all being like pointed straight forward like that. So the articulation on this kit is really nice. It's really cool, especially in that abdominal section, just the range of movement that you have there. But then obviously we don't have any legs to speak of. That said, each of these thruster bells here at the bottom also has a little bit of range of movement as well, aside from just being just really nicely detailed up underneath there. Just a very nicely detailed underskirt there. The arms do have a nice range of motion as well, and then obviously our fingers are fully articulated here also. And also just another kind of cool feature here, I do like that these thruster units on the front and back of the torso can also be raised and lowered a bit there like that. Same thing here on the back side, those can pop out there. And then for attaching the arm onto the wire, you can just pull that off there at the elbow joint. The wires are just going to go right into there. The other end of the wire, they're just going to go into the base, the inside of the arm there, and then you can just pull this part out, separate that out a little bit, and then here's your hard point where this is going to connect onto the effect stand, and then the effect part here will just connect into the back there like that. So it works really well, very simple. I like it. And if we pop the hat off here for a minute too, a couple things that I want to show you. Number one, of course, these thrusters kind of here on the sides, under the ears sort of, can move back and forth. But for the mono eye there, it's a clear pink piece inside, and there's a cool gimmick that when you actually move the head side to side or turn, that you'll see this whole part here at the bottom, the whole connection piece will turn side to side there. It almost looks like the part's coming off of where it's supposed to be, but actually is meant to go like that because then it's actually turning the mono eye. So as you move it to one way, the mono eye points to the other way. So you can see it's over here on this side. And then if I rotate that around to the other side, it switches over here to that side, so you can actually change the direction, sort of like the Master Grade 2.0 Zaku's, where when you turn the head, it turns the mono at the same time. It's a similar concept, but it works a little bit differently. It's very cool though. And so anyway, guys, let's go ahead and try it out here in a few different poses. Now, like I said, I think the biggest issue that you're gonna have with this is just because, like I said, it's a very big kit now up on that base, which was, you know, the kit was designed originally, and then the base was designed originally for like a smaller scale. And upscale, it still works pretty well, but like I said, I would just be a little bit careful with that. As a display piece, I gotta say, it looks really good here straight out of the box. Obviously, the original kit that this is based off of looked really good, and it's definitely gonna benefit from some panel lining, maybe some detail painting. We have all those really nice water slide decals included as well. So the fact that you get all the stands, the effect parts, the water slide decals, everything included with this makes it a really nice option. But it's a really cool kit for sure. Personally, I really love this design of the Zeong. I really enjoyed painting this kit previously, the 144 scale version. And while it does look nice here straight out of the box, kind of as it's designed to, it's definitely going to look even better if you put in a little bit extra work on it as well. Just something to think about. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think of the kit down in the comment section below. There's definitely some nice advantages to having it here in this larger size, aside from just the fact that it's a larger size. So it's definitely worth checking out. If you guys are interested, you can check the link in the video description to US Gundam store down below. We actually just got this in. I actually got this in a little bit early, but I'm a little bit late to getting to the review. And in the meantime, we actually just got the kit just delivered just the other day. So if you guys are interested in picking up the kit for yourself, it is now available there at US Gundam store at the time of recording this video anyway. So check it out. And as always, guys, thanks so much for checking out the video here today. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.